Hey group, it's Kris. I've been spending the last couple hours working on this homework. So I would really like to do a workshop, a long weekend workshop. And I have labeled this Widowed and Resilient, Tools for Healing After Loss. So on a Friday night, I'm gonna have a keynote speaker, a spiritual medium, well-known spiritual medium, and they're going to come and give evidence to all the widows and widowers that attend my conference that life does go on, that our loved ones watch us and connect with us and know exactly what's going on. And then on a Saturday morning following that Friday night, I'm going to have different seminars, about an hour and 15 for each. So the first one would be called Facing the Storm, Navigating Immediate Grief. I would have some kind of a grief counselor or therapist speaking, giving coping strategies for immediate grief. That would be followed by Supporting Heart, Grief with Children. Have a child psychologist or a family therapist with the topic of supporting children through grief. I would provide lunch. And then I would do a session called Financial Foundations, Managing Your Finances After Loss. I would have a financial advisor or an accountant to staff this about managing finances after loss. And there would be some subtopics there about reasons to move or not move, understanding financial responsibilities, what accounts to close or keep open. There's something out there called the knock box, N-O-K, next of kin box. I might have one of those people come and explain that box, and then talk about insurance needs, whether it's life insurance or car insurance or health insurance, those kinds of things, because everything changes when you lose your spouse. Then I would have a session called Reigniting Your Spirit, Rediscovering Purpose and Passion. I'd have a life coach or motivational speaker come to help these people find new interests and develop social connections with each other. And that would end it for Saturday night. So they went out on a good note on Friday note, knowing our loved ones are with us. They go out good on a Saturday night, having something hanging out in the future that they can look forward to, because when you're in grief, man, oh man, you can't even think of the future. You know, everything's dead to you. So the next day, the Sunday morning, I'd have a session called Strengthening Bonds, Building a Support Network. I'd have some kind of community organizer or social worker or peer counselor come for a topic of creating and sustaining support systems because we feel alone when we've lost our spouse, and family and friends seem to disappear and never check in on us. So that brings me to the next session, Families and Friends Navigating Unsupportive Dynamics. So then I would have Rosemary come back in, and she's got a couple of exercises she does with her clients, the bottom brick exercise or the 3 chairs exercise, or basically talking about our own expectations, setting ourselves up for failure because we expected people to come and take care of us after our spouse died. I would provide lunch again, and then the next session, Embracing the Future, staying alone versus finding someone else, because we have belief systems and guilt surrounding we love that person, and if we found somebody else, they'd have to sort of put up with their baggage in comparison to they're not as good as the person we just lost. I would have some kind of relational expert or grief counselor specializing in post-loss relationships talk through that. So basically navigating feelings about being alone versus finding someone else and addressing guilt. And then the next session would be Making the Change. So relocating and downsizing. I'd have a, Marie Kondo type person, professional organizer or a transition specialist, talk about moving house, downsizing, purging cherished mementos, the do's and don'ts. And then I would have the next session called Personal Journeys. There's no one right way to grieve. I'd have a grief counselor or therapist talk about this. And then we would end the seminar on a high note with a guided meditation, a closing ceremony, maybe a healing session. and they would walk away with some tools for the weekend. So these are the things I'm thinking about dealing with, moving from grief to joy. And thank you for listening.